What's up, everybody? Dustin from My Freedom Smokes here today to talk about the new ModVapa Sub2 MK2 sub-ohming vaping fantastic awesome tank. If you guys saw me talk about the Sub2 MK1, or you've seen any videos where I've talked about box mods, tanks, or something like that, I've probably been using the Sub2 MK1 on it. This is a sequel, and I think it's improved in every way. Big fan of this tank, big fan of this company. The Sub2 MK1 was probably the best flavor I've ever had in a tank, and that's what I told everyone. I used different juices in it constantly. It was my main tank and consistently had stellar performance out of it. This tank is absolutely no different. I've been playing with it for a while now, and I've grown to love it more than the Sub2 MK1, surprisingly. So it's not very often that a sequel comes out, or the next product in the line that comes out and just blows the other tank out of the water. I feel like this tank did everything that the other tank did, but better. Even putting a coil in there is better. Still not the best, but I deal with that because of the performance of the tank. You have to have a sleeve for the coil that you put the coil in after you've soaked it with your e-liquid. You wet the coil and then you stick it in a sleeve, which then fits inside of this. That's kind of annoying, but so you don't want to lose that sleeve. But with the performance I'm getting out of this tank, it's something that I deal with. It's such a minute con to me. It's just one step that I have to take that, with the performance of this tank compared to other tanks, it really makes up for it, in my opinion. It comes with a standard 0.5 ohm resistance coil, and the way the coils are created is it's pretty innovative in my opinion. Not only is the interior of the coil wicked, but instead of having like the aluminum wall, the metallic wall or whatever surrounding the coil, in this it's just straight cotton wrapped around the coil. So it basically pulls all the e-liquid inside into the walls, and then as the interior cotton dries up, it just sucks from the walls and it just refills. So I've heard people say they've never gotten a dry head out of this thing. I've gotten one, and that was my own fault, just too high wattage and stuff like that. But with that, pretty innovative wicking technique, the thing is just, outperforming almost every other tank. You can hit these things non-stop. I can keep going, but I don't really want to because wasting all my juice for a video. But there was not a single dry hit right there, just intense flavor. Kryptonite by Cosmic Fog, 3 milligrams, my favorite go-to juice in a tank. But I can keep puffing that, and it's just, as long as there's juice in this thing, it just keeps going. I mean, no burnt hit, still wicked. It's just great. Another cool thing about it is in here, the part where the airflow goes through, that connects to the coil, it's spring loaded. Hard to talk about without taking it apart. I'm gonna juice in here, but it's spring loaded, which means so when you put your coil in, you put in the base, and you're trying to attach the base, the spring loaded, connection part, the chimney inside there will, push down, meet contact with the coil, and you just push it in and you tighten it, and it makes sure there's a snug fit, make sure everything goes in there perfectly, and it's just really, really convenient. Not necessary, because I didn't really have a problem with the Sub2 MK1's method of doing it, which is the regular screw-in method, but if anyone had a problem with that, it's going to make it easier. It definitely does not make it harder at all. So that's just a cool improvement that I didn't think they would even touch. I thought they would just make other minor changes. Another change is the glass is more protected. So you do have the glass that shows on two sides, left and right side, front, back, whatever you want to call it. But it also has a, metal protector right here. I still like throwing a vape band on it, because you never know. But, you don't really have to. There's not that much glass showing. It's way more protected than the other, and it still looks pretty snazzy. That was a big deal for me with the Sub2 MK1, how snazzy it looked. Just the glass and that, the logo. I was a real big fan of it. So still a big fan of this. I really like all their tanks. So, in the future, I can't wait to see what they do in the future, because they're just killing it, in my opinion. It's still my favorite tank out there. So in here is the 0.5 wattage coil, and I found the sweet spot is at 40 watts. You're seeing the best performance, the best temperature, thick plumes of clouds, fires way quicker, you know. It's giving me everything I want. The Coil says it can safely run up to 50 watts, and it definitely can. It's just not my temperature preference. So I would be running this thing at 50 watts if I like the hot vaping experience, and you could just be killing it with the thick clouds and the flavor and all that. I'm just not a fan of the temperature, so I keep it at 40 watts. My sweet spot, but by all means, if you want to cloud chase in this thing, crank it up. It uses the same coils as the Sub2 MK2. It also has its own specific coils that you can use for this tank. I would not go down to the older tank with the new coils, but you can bring the old coils up into this new thing, so that is cool. I love it when tanks do that. Big fan of companies that do that. Looking out for your customers, because some people stockpile, some people hoard, some people buy when they need them, but for all those hoarders out there that, you know, want a new tank, they're definitely going to have use for those coils. So hope this helps. Hope this really gets something across for you, making you, help you make a decision in the next tank purchase you make. But I'm definitely saying, if you want something, you should probably give this thing a try. It's not a well-known company, but get in there while it's hot. But I'm really thinking this company's going to take off. So, and I really think everyone's going to enjoy this. So, with all that being said, I'm Dustin from My Freedom Smokes. Just imagine I did that till my tank was empty. Because this thing rules. Thank you for vaping.